Yeah, I can be. Cool. Well, hi everybody. I'm LMMotoss. I'm going to be running Loom for you today. If I'm not clicked on the game window right now to save you the narrator yelling at us about what difficulty level we're going to pick, but let me know in chat if you're there, ready for this LucasArts classic from 1990. So as you can see here, we have 3 different difficulties.
Please choose your skill level.
There's no difference between them except for how much the music staff helps you. And we're going to play on expert. There's no reason for that. The speedrun leaderboard doesn't require any sort of special difficulty. It's just kind of what people are running on now. You don't have the music notes to help you, but that's okay. As you'll see,
Please
I will explain as we go.
Skill level.
And here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome.
So first off, we play as Bobbin. I really would like everyone, at the beginning of any Loom run, to wish Bobbin a very happy birthday. It is his birthday at the beginning of this game. And he's not going to have a very good one, unfortunately. So this is, you may recognize the Scum engine, which the Monkey Island games was also made in. In fact, there's a plug for this game. The Valuethon Twitter account actually used that plug for Monkey Island as the image to hype this run. There's no lost conditions in this game. You can softlock if you didn't play for a while and forgot a song that you needed. The game won't let you progress until you know all the songs you need, though. So, you know. A lot of the strategy in this game, which I should say, there's no randomness, so this is a great game to speedrun if you don't want to have to grind any RNG whatsoever. The only RNG in the game is which set of drafts you get, which are the spells you use in the game. There's 4 different, in this version at least of the game, there's 4 different preset ones, so once I learn a few, I'm going to know which set I'm using, and I won't really have to pay attention to what they are after that. I can just look at my reference sheet, so... The first one, open, is always the same. We're going to get this distaff here.
It's heavier than it looks.
You really have to be careful about your inputs in this game. It will drop them a lot if you're not careful, and that's a major source of time loss. So even though I know what the open draft is because it's the same, it's ECED anytime, I do have to cast it on that egg for Bobbin to know it. If you don't learn a spell the right way, if you just use your own knowledge and try to cast it ahead of time, he'll say oh, I guess I didn't cast that right, or something. He has an excuse for why it doesn't work. So you do have to see a draft in order for Bobbin to use it. You can't just know what the drafts are and do it like that. The route for this game, the basic route, was made by Enchantress of Numbers way back, many years ago. I took and added some additions and found some new tricks. And then I got world record, and then I was beaten by a runner named Non-Slim Jim, who discovered some more tricks and also better play. And in fact, just recently, I won't say recently, but in his newest world record run, he uses a slight tweak to the route, which I'm doing today for the 2nd time ever, so we'll see how that goes. But here I'm walking back up to the beginning of the game because the story here is that the Weavers are almighty, and all the guilds in this game got so powerful that they can actually, it's almost magic how their abilities work. So basically, Weavers became so good at weaving that they can change the fabric of reality. So what I did was I used the open spell on the sky. That made lightning come down and hit that tree, which I'm going to use as a raft to escape the island later, but I cannot do that yet because to really escape, you need the F note and you won't get the F note until you've learned all the drafts on Loom Island. So that's how the game kind of gates your progression. It will put stuff in your way that you can't do until you've learned everything you're going to need later. Here's a change. We're going to talk to these holes first. This does save a little bit of time. I tested it earlier, so...
There's an owl in there.
We're about to learn night vision. And once I know night vision, I'm going to know which spell list I have out of the 4. Unless it happens to be a set of 2, night vision is the same
so many owls in these woods.
in 2 of the sets. So I have to, I have to pay a little extra attention if it's like that mode. We're going to chase this mouse out and get the last owl here.
Ouch.
So feel free to ask questions in chat if you want to know something about this game. I played it a lot when I was a kid. It's like one of those fond childhood memories, so... I wasn't paying attention the first 3 holes, so I actually have to pay attention now. All right, we're song set 2, which is one of my favorites. Night vision's very easy to cast. As you saw, it's all the same note, the C note. So we can just go do our stuff pretty easily now. And at this point, I know what inputs I'm going to need for the whole rest of the game because, like I said, the sets are pre-made, so... And there's no way... You can't speed up how fast he does drafts, so that's... How fast you type kind of doesn't matter in a way. We're going to learn Straw to Gold here. We're going to prove that we know it by using it backwards on this gold. That's how the game knows that we actually paid attention and learned it. And there we go. Now we're going to learn Die, and we're going to leave the island. There is a soft lock potential here, but the way I do it, you're safe. You can exit this next hut before you get the note, and you'll be stuck here forever, so we're not going to do that. He hates grass green, by the way.
Grass green. I hate that colour.
Oh yeah. If you love the point and clicks, this is the best one to speedrun, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's a nice short length. It's very safe. There's there we go. There's the F note. I'm 1 step away from soft locking. But it's okay. It's safe. We're going to just go over here, leave the island, and then we're going to have our second instance of playing a spell backwards, because we're going to learn Twist from a twister, or water spout, and we're going to use that draft backwards and just untwist it, make it not happen anymore. And the twist requires the F note, so that's how they make sure you learned everything before you leave, because otherwise you'd be stuck right here, and you'd have to paddle back.
I think that's close enough.
We get out of there. And for some reason the game gives you the F, and then it gives you the G right away after you do that. I don't know why they made that decision. G stops you from casting invisibility, but you wouldn't have had to cast it till now anyways, so... I don't understand that, but here we go. We need to go learn invisibility before we go to where we actually need to go. So we're going to come here, learn invisibility, go to the glass city, cast it so we can get through there, learn terror from a scrying spear there, and then come back here and scare these guys. They're bullies. I don't feel bad about it. You're not seeing, they're like heckling you in that cutscene. Whoop. And that's what we call a backstep. That's where you click somewhere that the game actually doesn't have a path for, and it tries to turn you around. Bobbin is like another runner of this game, Scala Kitty, says it's like Bobbin is like a cat who doesn't want to go where you tell him. And backsteps are a major loss of time. Like, basically, the way you can lose time in this is, like, not casting drafts early enough. If you cast them too early, you'll drop inputs and miscast, which is worse. And then also you can backstep or just fail at casting, which is not good. So we're going to cast Invis here. I learned it in that cutscene that I skipped, so don't worry. We actually do know this.
Maybe I should stand a bit closer.
I pushed it too fast, that's why he yelled at me there. And the game would turn, it would like do red and it would make a different sound if you cast it wrong there. We're gonna skip that cutscene. That was an innovation by Non-Slim Jim. You're supposed to walk down the steps and overhear them, but if you just try to leave, it automatically plays the cutscene, so it's pretty good. Not very nice time save.
Spell. I wonder what will happen if...
I wish I could stay here and let you listen to these guys' dialogue, because it's hilarious, but it takes too long for them to talk about it. You'll get some snippets when I come through. But I'm invisible here because I casted it on them from outside.
I don't doubt the Crucible's getting tired of bowing and scraping. Why would the clerics want a scrying?
So you may have noticed I'm teleporting here. That's because this is the Glassmakers Guild, and just like the Weavers, they are good at they're so good at what they do that basically they can make spheres that see into the future. They can make prisms that can teleport people. Same thing. So I'm learning terror from myself in the future. What inputs do you use to play notes? Well, you have two choices. You can use the actual keys that the notes are on your keyboard. You have to push shift in order to play the high C, because there are two C's in this game. You only have to use the high C once, though. Or you can use the QWERTY keys, and those correspond to the notes of the staff from the bottom up. So I prefer to use the letter keys because it's less confusing to me. But like, for instance, Scala Kitty, who's another runner of this game, uses the QWERTY keys. It's just preference. There's not one that's faster than the other, so it's whatever. You use escape to skip cutscenes, which we haven't really made a ruling about if you can rebind it or not. But if you do multiple runs of this in a row, your escape key hand will get tired because, like, I don't actually know where the earliest point you can push escape is. So a lot of times you might be able to hear my mechanical keyboard clacking as I'm jamming escape, because I'm not really sure where the transition is. It is the game advertised in Monkey Island. It's true. Have you heard about Loom? So here we're going to learn heal, even though we can't actually play heal yet because it requires the A note, and I don't have the A note. But we're going to use terror on these guys, which I said. Whoop, targeting them. Oh, see, that's a miscast. Now I need to wait till he drops. And play again, because it wastes more time if you play the whole thing and he has to talk. Loom TM. Okay, so if you click outside the window, the game pauses too, like you just saw, because I'm trying to click pretty close to the edge of the screen. You can learn sleep from this guy, but sleep's optional. We have other ways of doing it. The game wants you to put this dragon to sleep later, but we can use terror on her instead, so. Yeah, it wasn't even called LucasArts at this time. I'm pretty sure it was called like Lucasfilm Games or something. So we're going to learn heal here, which we're not even going to use till near the end of the game. That's okay. In this spell set, it's annoying to cast, actually, so... This sheep isn't doing too well, sorry. Rip. F's in chat for the sheep.
Hello there.
Who said?
I see you've noticed my little friend.
Okay. Now, I need chat to get your screams ready. Your scream emojis and your Twitter emblems for screaming or ahs, because you're going to hear a very particular scream coming up. And I want everybody to spam it. When you hear the scream, you'll know when.
The flock is out to pasture. You'll find them there. Go forth, wizard, and may you return safely to our fold.
We never know what happens to that sheep, you know? It's gonna be a mystery. We're gonna dye these sheep green so the dragon picks us up instead, because it can't see any of its regular prey. If you start casting a spell before the screen scrolls, it'll drop your first input, which in this case I might be able to save because the first two notes are the same, but you know, it's better. Okay, here we go. There we go. We have this sassy dragon. There's another part that I wish I was showing you more of the dialogue because it's hilarious. But it turns out if you talk to her, you find out she's afraid of fire. So here we go.
I thought you looked a bit scrawny. Why, you'd hardly make a decent kindling.
So we're going to turn her gold into straw. She's going to get mad, but then we're going to make her afraid, and she's going to accidentally burn it down herself. So...
Put it back the way you found it, now.
Here's the next note. I just want to make sure I got her targeted right before I started casting that, so I don't drop one. Okay, and where we're going now is what I like to call cave reset.
You haven't heard the last of me, you cheeky brat!
It's very easy to backstep here, and in particular, it's easy to not go through an entrance that you clicked on. They're very like particular about how you do it. So, like here, you'll see when I go through these doors, you know, we're gonna see some of them are very particular. You might see me backstep out of them or not go through when it looks like I should have. He'll just stand there, like right before leaving. This bridge is hard. You backstep a lot on it if you aren't clicking in very particular spots. So we end up resetting, or at least I ended up resetting a lot here when I was setting my PB. Of course, this is a marathon, so if I miss anything here, we're just going to keep going. This staircase is one of the tricky ones. You're not really sure because he can actually be all the way down there, like you can't see him, and yet he won't be into the next screen yet. And you kind of are waiting for the screen to transition, and then it doesn't. So by the time you realize and move him, you've lost quite a bit of time. But of course, I know the way through this maze too, and I need you to get your screams ready again because that exact same scream is coming. It's coming.
Guess I won't be going back that way.
And believe me, I learned the reflect draft there. Even though I didn't listen to the whole thing, I learned it. And in fact, I actually waited longer than I had to. And you see I'm backstepping like crazy here. This entrance is very difficult to get through. But here we go. We're through. We're past like major backstepping areas. I just have one really tense moment left. But yeah, I saw in chat the voice work is really good. Yes, it is. And in fact, this version of the game, the VGA version, is the only one with voices. The original version of the game, which is EGA, first off, doesn't have the preset spell list, so that's why we don't play that. But also, it had music. You'll notice like there's a lot of silence in this game. It actually has full background music in the original release, but no voices. In order to fit the voices on the disc, they had to take the music out, so there's only music at the beginning and the end. There's the dragon. She's mad at me. That's important because I'm about to do some top tier identity theft. This is where you would use unsleep to wake him up, but actually you can just cast anything at him and he just calls you noisy and wakes up. So we're good. You talk to Rusty. You target Rusty again.
It might help to point.
Targeting is tough in this game too. It's sometimes hard to tell if you've actually clicked it or not. Luckily, not targeting is not that much of a time save. And, ooh, I'm Rusty now. And you'll notice Rusty looks like me. Now, he is not part of the death cutscenes that you all met the incentive on. However, he is going to die. Spoiler alerts. Rusty gets killed by that dragon who thinks he's me. So it's my fault he dies. That's important. We are going to see all the rest of the death cutscenes, though. So basically, from when I do a little thing with the sword in here until I go outside existence, we're going to see some pretty pretty funny cutscenes from the LucasArts days. So this screen is so annoying with the there's a Rusty's boss who's not too nice. Off screen, my godmother kind of found my stick, which is about to get burned up. Brings it back. I get out of here. This is really important. If I miss the next draft, I will lose over a minute. So that will not be good. So we need to wait until this conversation's done, and then we're going to twist this blade to ruin it. And then we're going to go... I need to remember to not skip these cutscenes, because that would not be good. That's what you all paid for, so... This guy's the bad guy in the game, by the way. His name is Archbishop Mandible. He's the trans-ultimate apostle of the anti-secular conclave of clerics. It's pretty good. It's basically the head of the clerics guild.
Good to hear it! No slacking off now! Let's get it finished!
You share with me a historic moment, Foreman.
So I need to use twist, which in this version is DEFC.
End of our preparations. How much longer must I wait?
The steel will ring out its final defeat, sir. Not
And you can go back out this door, which is a very close click to the blade.
Carry on!
So that would be frustrating. Okay, I got it. Cool. So I'm not gonna skip this.
What evil is this?
The voice acting is pretty good here.
Curse has twisted the final blade.
A curse, Edgewise? I think not. It would take more than a mere witch's curse to ruin my plans. You there! Could it be that this little prank is of your doing? Yes? Well then, I would be honored to have you as my guest at the cathedral.
You never see any of the other clerics, though, except for his assistant, Cobb, who is also in Monkey Island. So this is the totally not evil-looking headquarters of the Clerics Guild.
I'm getting really tired of this.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Bishop Mandible, trans-ultimate apostle of the anti-secular conclave of clerics.
I know. Am I expected to kneel?
Silence, you impudent punk.
This is my assistant, Cobb.
This is the same Cobb who's in the bar in Monkey Island, who talks about Loom.
Your cloak and staff betray your origins. But I must say I'm surprised to find you here. It's been quite a long time since any weaver bothered to leave that dreary little rock you call home.
Oh, Bobbin's the last weaver, by the way. Some stuff happened at the beginning of the game that I skipped.
I can't help but wonder what impelled you to leave it now.
His Excellency asked you a question.
I know. I'm ignoring it.
Cheeky Bobbin.
Recalcitrance. I see.
Shall I fetch the instruments of persuasion, Master?
Please forgive my assistant his eagerness. I fear Cobb is not very worldly. He does not understand the dangerous power of a weaver.
Dangerous? Your Reverence. Him?
Quite dangerous indeed, my dear Cobb. In fact, he could burst this flimsy iron cage open with hardly a second thought.
That's impossible, most exalted one. I inspect the locks personally every fortnight.
Observe and learn,
So,
then, for even now your prisoner plans his escape.
This is a trick. he actually wants me to do this because he doesn't know what the open draft is, and he needs to know that for his plan. He's going to open reality at a graveyard. Not a smart idea, so we're going to see what happens with that.
You see, Cobb? An elusive breed, these weavers. Fortunately, however, they're quite
Loom is very
helpless
esports.
without their weaving sticks.
That distaff will never work for
Bobbin's
you.
wrong.
Oh no, my young friend, you're quite wrong about that. Come, let me show you why.
He's not very good at doing
Consider
it, though.
the common graveyard. There, the boundary between the living and the dead is indistinct.
Every graveyard's like that, so...
Now, imagine what might happen if this delicate boundary were to be somehow breached. Torn open, so to speak.
It's not that simple. You can't just rip the pattern apart like an old rag.
But it is that
The pattern is
simple,
reality,
and
by the way.
I can. I have only to lift this rod, and the legions of the dead will stream forth onto the plane of the living. A vast army of the dead, nourished by the shepherd's flocks.
Not only is this plan bad,
armed
he
by the
thinks that dead
artisanship
people
of the
need to eat.
blacksmiths, guided by the glassmaker's sphere. All under the spiritual leadership of one supreme commander, me! The final hour is now at hand. The age of the clerics is upon us. I have preparations to attend to, Cobb. Don't let this boy out of your sight. He is to touch nothing. Do you understand me?
Perfectly, Your Excellence.
Lord Master.
Okay, here we go. Here comes the big part of the plot about to happen. Also, don't look at a weaver. This is just some friendly advice. Don't look under their hood.
You're not so dangerous now, then, are you?
So he said don't touch anything, so I'm gonna try to touch this.
Keep away from that. His Eminence said not to touch anything.
It's gonna teach you the
I wasn't gonna
transfiguration
touch it.
draft it when you touch it.
Just
but
looking, Carl.
I already know it.
That's all.
Just
In
looking,
fact,
eh?
it haunts my dreams.
Well then, perhaps we can do a bit of a trade. How about I let you look in the sphere
If... what?
Well, the legends say that to gaze upon an uncloaked weaver brings death. Naturally, we clerics aren't given to such silly superstitions, but I'm curious. Let's answer this one once and for all, shall we? No!
Ooh, yikes.
May we have some quiet, please?
Mandibles just...
Can't even begin to invoke the dead with all that screaming.
Well, he can't say he wasn't warned.
Aha. Man, Bobbin, you just killed a guy and you're just like, well, whatever. I told him.
I see Cobb has been lax in his duty. No matter. You're just in time to witness the dawn of a new era.
You don't have the slightest idea of what you're doing. The pattern is already worn and frayed. If you rip a hole in it now, the consequences will be beyond anything you can imagine.
Spare me your weaver mysticism, boy. The time has come when the dead shall no longer envy the living.
Like he's kind of off key. I think that's funny.
You've torn the pattern completely open.
And with it, the eyes of the dead. Behold!
I have a very bad feeling about this.
Oh, that Lucasfilm line. You know what I'm saying?
Disturb the peace of those who sleep.
I welcome and
Does this look
greet
like a
you,
noble spirit to you?
Spirit. I am Bishop Mandible, Transultimate Apostle of the Anti-Secular Conclave of Clerics. And whom have I the honor of summoning?
I don't think I want to be part of this conversation.
Bobbin's like, I'm out.
Made any summoning of yours, foolish mortal. I have summoned you.
Oh, yeah.
I am chaos.
Ignore that misprint.
You opened the door, and I have passed through it. For this You shall be rewarded. Join me now, as my slave.
That is the unmaking spell. So, yeah. So, yeah. He became unmade.
I see it has been much too long since my last visit.
Cool. Here we go. Now we can finally go again.
I can't seem to hold on to this thing.
And from now, it's this is like a bum rush of inputs to the end of the game. So once you get here, if you're on PB pace, you start to get real nervous because there's a lot you have to do in a very short amount of time. So first we're gonna, you can use opposite open, or you can use heal. I use heal because heal only goes one way and I don't have to think about it. So we're gonna heal all these tears in reality. And we're going to visit some people. So in this portal is Rusty. And we're going to make good on the fact that it's our fault he's dead. Now, it should be mentioned, this only works because the bishop opened the portal, or else I wouldn't be able to heal people who are dead. But yeah, he's, we healed him. He ran away. Rusty's fine. Rusty's fine, everybody. He never got killed by that dragon. Now, Fleece, who was the nice shepherd who taught us the heal spell in the first place, she is actually fine. She was going to star in one of the sequels to this game that never happened, but we don't care about these other guys because they were mean. So the game actually doesn't make you save them, and we're not going to, so... Bye. In the next portal is a guy named Master Goodmold, who we never met because we didn't play the game properly, and we don't need to heal him either. And in fact, you can't. There's a conversation you have with him here, but for some reason the game doesn't let you heal him. He just dies and disappears. I don't know what's the deal with that, but he doesn't get healed either way. Okay. And now, because of story stuff that I didn't explain, your mom is a swan, and a whole bunch of other weavers are swans too, and they were sent to this side of reality. And we would have a conversation with your mom here where she explains everything, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do mom skip. Mom skip happens, and you're not going to get to talk to mom, which is a shame because she probably has one of the better voices in this whole game. Her name is Signa, and they are swans, not geese. Swans. Just a heads up. So now we're going to go... Chaos is actually going to Loom Island with the Blacksmith Foundry as a mobile fortress, because Chaos wants the Loom, because it apparently like gives almighty power over reality or something. So Bobbin finally learned how to walk fast, and we get to go straight to the Loom. And that's our godmother, Hetchel. She's been helping us throughout the game, but we are... Chaos didn't like her talking, so it silenced her. Then I unsilence her. It doesn't like her talking, so it turns her into a roast chicken. I un-roast chicken her. And then it just decides to evaporate her with unmaking, which that's how I learned unmake, and that's what I'm going to use on the Loom here, because better destroy it than Chaos get it. So we unmake the Loom. We go through to the other side of reality. I'm going to turn myself into a swan, and we actually, all the weavers just nope out and leave this side of reality to their fate. And that's where the sequels were going to come in, where you would come back to help everybody fight against Chaos. But they never happened, so right now it just appears like we just nope out. Death totally whiffs with the scythe that it throws at me. Sorry, Chaos. You whiffed it. And now we play the song that haunts my dreams. And that's time. So there we go. I turn into a swan. We nope away. We tell Chaos we don't care.
Young threadbare, and know that we will
Yeah, the shape is actually, the spell is called shaping. I basically undo it, basically. But yeah, that's the game. And everybody's turned into swans, and you should know that all the music that is remaining in this game is actually from Swan Lake, the ballet. So that's how you get the music that they decided to put in this game. And that's where the pieces would be from that were removed from the game as well. They just not removed from it, so. Thanks for the GGs. Yeah, that's Loom. It's a very easy speedrun to learn. I learned it in only a couple of hours, and I had a PB, like a nice PB on the leaderboard within only 5 or 6 hours of playing it. It's $5 on Steam, so that is real good value. And it just so happens the Steam version is the one that is the easiest to speedrun as well. So I would definitely recommend. We've gained a few new players recently, and it's very fun to speedrun. Like I said, you don't have to deal with a lot of randomness. It's really all just in your skill and learning it and using the notes. I wrote a pretty, very easy to follow, very minimal guide to it, which is on the speedrun.com page. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm actually gonna click out of the window now to stop the music because it's somewhat loud for me on my end. But yeah, Lauren Jones, great voice for Chaos. The voice actors, there were like 8 or 9 voice actors for this game, and it was fully voiced, which is very very early in this development of video games to have a fully voiced game. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. There's a few games left.